The song I didn't skip. Familiar words. A simple phrase. But what if it wasn't about music at all? What if it was about a life, a heartbeat, a story too precious to fast forward? Princess Leonor of Spain. Not just a princess. Not just an heir. A song the world cannot ignore. The expectation is easy. Royal families are rehearsed, scripted, predictable. But here is the shock. Behind palace walls, life is fragile, human, unscripted. And here comes the snapback. This is not a fairy tale written by tradition. This is the story of two sisters, Leonor and Sofia. And in their bond, Spain sees not a monarchy in decline, but a future rising with light. Let's begin. From the very first moment Leonor was presented to the Spanish people, the headlines wrote her future. Future Queen of Spain. A phrase heavy with centuries of expectation, history, and weight. But to Sofia, she was simply, my sister. And that is where the real story lives, between titles and tenderness, between duty and love. Imagine the sound of footsteps echoing through Zarzuela Palace. The girls running down corridors not as royals, but as children. Laughter bouncing off walls older than their names. Every kingdom starts in silence, but their story begins in music. Because Leonor was never alone. Sofia was always the harmony to her melody. But harmony has its tension. From the outside, the roles seem unfair. One destined to reign, the other destined to support. One bathed in the light of succession, the other cast in its shadow. Yet, when you look closely, you see it differently. For what is a song without harmony? What is a crown without a hand to steady it? Leonor's destiny was never just hers. It was Sofia's too. And Spain began to see that. When Leonor first stepped onto the stage of history, reading the Spanish Constitution aloud at just 13, the world held its breath. Here was a child, speaking with the weight of centuries behind her. But in the corner, there was Sofia. Silent, proud, radiant. A sister's quiet song, unskippable, unforgettable. And so, the loops of curiosity begin. What is it like to be sisters inside a monarchy? What is it like when your family is not just your family, but the family of a nation? And what is it like when the bond of two girls becomes the hope of millions? To understand Leonor and Sofia, you must understand Spain itself. Spain is not a quiet country. Its heart beats loud, through flamenco rhythms, football stadiums, and the crowded plazas where history breathes. Every Spaniard has lived through monarchy, republic, dictatorship, and back to monarchy again. They have seen kings loved, and kings rejected. So when Leonor was born, she wasn't just a child. She was a test. Could Spain believe again in its future? And here, the story tightens. Because children are not born symbols, they are made into them. Leonor did not choose her destiny. But destiny chose her. And Sofia, without complaint, without hesitation, walked beside her. Think of the weight of their parents, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia. He, a monarch rebuilt from the scandals of the past. She, a journalist turned queen, the outsider turned insider. They knew that their daughters would carry not just crowns, but centuries of eyes. Every gesture, every smile, every mistake magnified. Yet still, Leonor and Sofia found space to be human. Space to be children who loved stories, music, and above all, each other. This is where the song deepens. Because love inside a royal family is not ordinary. It is tested by protocol, rehearsed by cameras, and strained by duty. Yet, Leonor and Sofia never let go of one another. Look closely at the photographs, hands held tightly, arms linked, glances exchanged. Two sisters creating a private melody in public chaos. And here lies the paradox. Spain looks at Leonor and sees a queen. But Sofia looks at Leonor and sees home. The unskippable song. Let's pause. What happens when duty begins to grow heavier? Leonor's path is clear. Military training, international representation, the shadow of one day taking the crown. But what of Sofia? Her path is less defined, yet no less important. She becomes what every monarchy needs but rarely celebrates, the anchor, the unseen force that keeps the future steady. And so, the tension of the narrative pulls tighter. Will Sofia always remain in the background? Or will history remember her role as equally vital, equally sacred? After all, every great story has more than one voice. As Leonor turns 18, Spain watches a transformation. From child to woman, from daughter to heir. Her military training begins, grueling, exacting, symbolic. She learns to carry weapons, to command respect, to wear the uniform of Spain's armed forces. And through it all, Sofia watches, not with envy, but with pride. Because her sisters rise as her rise too. Think about the imagery. Leonor in boots, standing tall among soldiers. A princess who is no longer fragile, no longer untouchable, but forged like steel. And Sofia, steady at her side, the reminder that no queen rises alone. This is where the song grows louder. Spain sees in Leonor not just monarchy, but resilience. Not just tradition, but evolution. And behind her, Sofia ensures the melody never breaks. The people of Spain begin to ask, is this the monarchy we wanted? The answer is complex. But when they look at Leonor, they see a chance. A chance that history, this time, will not repeat with scandal, but with hope. The bond of two sisters becomes more than family. It becomes Spain's heartbeat. And once you hear it, you cannot skip it. Pause again. What does it mean for the world beyond Spain? In Denmark, in the UK, in the US, royalty is spectacle, fascination, headlines. But here, Leonor and Sofia are not just celebrities. They are the bridge between past and future. They are the quiet promise that Spain will not fade, but endure. So what is the song we cannot skip? It is not Leonor alone. It is Leonor and Sofia together. A melody of duty and love, of weight and lightness, of crown and sisterhood. A song Spain keeps replaying, because it carries something rare, authenticity. And as the minutes of their young lives unfold, Spain listens. Every laugh, every glance, every step into adulthood. Because this song, unlike others, cannot be replaced. It cannot be skipped. For Leonor, the crown awaits. For Sofia, the role of guardian, supporter, equal, endures. But together, they form something monarchy often forgets, a family that feels real, not distant. And that is why the world watches. So remember this. In the corridors of Zarzuela, where history whispers through stone walls, there are two sisters walking side by side. One destined to reign. One destined to remind her that reign means nothing without love. The song I didn't skip was never about music. It was about them. About Leonor. About Sofia. About Spain's fragile, beautiful, unstoppable hope. And once you hear it, you will never skip it either.